为什么国内没有虫族选手？你妈的，国内有的呀。中国第5 Z Magic 泰伦是不是虫族
？This next matchup pits 2 of the best Zerg in the tournament against each other. We have Dark representing Talon Esports in yet another gambit for the finals. He's come so close in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2019. Could this be the year that he finally seals the deal at IEM?
来了啊
Or will it go to Shin, who is the normal Zerg, and following in the footsteps of last year's normal man, could find himself hoisting the trophy. First, though, they've got to get through this matchup, so let's get it started.
It is time to hop into our second quarterfinals of the day. A big ZVZ between Dark and Shin. Shin, of course, the man from Mystery Gaming.
我真觉得他妈的这个王格纳洛克真的有点憨憨的，但这个逼打的真的很好。Dark ZVZ 67%的胜率，这个胜率非常高了。
I can only imagine it is going to be exciting. Dynamic, Zerg vs Zerg. Don't blink because a lot of these games could be over very fast.
It's fun, right? Because we've been talking a lot about Dark, and we've been kind of.
王格纳洛克有战队啊，他跟邦尼是一个队的呀。
He's a macro beast if he wants to be, but throughout the tournament, especially against Protoss, he plays weird. He plays different. He makes less drones than you are quote unquote supposed to do. Even though that's obviously silly, right? Because in the end of the day, StarCraft is a video game, and the only thing you're really supposed to do is win. Dark is incredibly good at winning. I do think that when it comes to this quarterfinals, Dark is going to slow it down a little bit. Because I agree with the boys at the desk. I think he's the superior late game player. Dark has always been.
Dark 已经离开大海之战队了，他在那个一支东南亚的战队叫泰隆战队。
Dark has been the best Korean Zerg spellcaster out there for a very long time. Shin Vipers, he kind of sees it as a we use it once and then we
泰隆就是为了备战石油杯啊，所以说找了星际选手。
Then you think back of that ZVZ you had with Solar in Atlanta, where they both went greedy, up on greed, and at one point I think Dark went no wall off, 3-minute lair, no Zergling speed, straight into a Spire with +1 melee Zerglings, and you look at it as like, if Solar would have sneezed at you, the game would have been over, but it didn't happen. I mean, Dark is just incredibly good, he is willing to roll the dice, but if I was him or if I was his coach, I'd be like, mate, you are the better late game player, you don't have to be crazy Dark.
汉人，你妈个鸡，没有人打得过他，那怎么办嘛？
Or Shin's buff in this case, sorry.
谁敢杀我现在？
Interesting matchup though, because Dark can show that late game, but he can also just try to kill you in the first 3 minutes of the game. We have seen so many ZVZs where Dark will be like, you know what? How can I break my opponent's mentality at the start of the series? Let's just 12 pull and pull the drones. Like, he's willing to do crazy moves like this. It's very rare though in this matchup because Shin, I mean, he's famous for 14 pulls, for 15 pulls. Like, these kind of halfway between an early spawning pool and a pool first build order. He has these really oddball, unique openings that create very specific timing attacks that only he knows.
Yep, and obviously, this is a big stage for both of them. Dark, he's been here, done that. He's got a way more.
这些狗逼虫族，你妈的ZVZ一个比一个猛。现在妈8强没有神族了。
You think of GSL Kodesh, you think of BlizzCon, but the one tournament he's never won is this one.
好了，来了，我们来看一下出生点位啊。出生在地图下方5点钟方向，就是红色的虫族选手，来自于泰隆战队的大可。
It's going to be a fun one. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. In the bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of that Korean Zerg, who's been around forever. He has won pretty much all of it, besides this one. Is this his year? This is Dark.
And his opponent in the top left, the most overlooked player in the group stages.
出生在地图的11点钟方向的就是蓝色的虫族选手啊，王格纳洛克。
Formerly known as Ragnarok. He really is a unique player, Shin. He's such a cerebral player. It's all about the mental game. I definitely think Dark's a bit faster than him, a bit scrappier, and his ability to make comebacks is definitely higher tier. But Shin's a thinking player, and if he can get a read on how his opponent's going to play,
都是一个正常的一个双开。
What's incredibly fun about Shin as well is that he's so damn decisive and he plays everything with
其实
a lot of
ZVZ
commitment. You have people who think, hey, this might be the right
就
moment to go.
他们两个 ZVZ 还偏一波，看会不会出现这种一防蟑螂狗一波的这种打法。
He just sees a pretty clear path to victory. It's like, hey, if I make a lot of lings and ravages right now and I move to the other side of the map and I show him A.
Dark 其实以前 ZVZ 他是打的不怎么样的，他很喜欢放12D， 后面这段时间好像练出来了。
But Shin plays everything with a lot of heart and belief, and that is honestly what sets him apart, right? Because he does all these Baneling all-ins, these link floods against Terrans. We're like, that's not supposed to work, because if the Terran has X, Y, or Z, doesn't think about it for a second.
No.
Dark 很偷啊，没有照狗。
For indecision, there is no room for second guessing yourself, not in a match as StarCraft. Something people learned 25 years ago in StarCraft 1 very quickly, and it's carried over even more so, one could argue.
哎，狗叔为什么没升呢 ？Dark 一
一
攻蟑螂 ，Dark 是啊。啊，第一把用这种战术吗？这战术很蠢的呀。 有一说一啊。
That's what you say, right? He could be walling off. He should be walling off, because normally if you don't get Zergling speed, you don't wall off.
这一攻蟑螂的战术真的有用吗？哎，细节不错。
Good move there with that drone on hold position is going to prevent the Zergling from running into the main base. If you're Shin right now, there could still be so many things. Dark could have even done something as weird as grab a couple drones from the main, send them into the net, you'll be like, hey, nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, he's got 28 Zerglings waiting in his main. Dark is so omega greedy. He did this exact same thing against Solar.
哎，直接跳飞龙啊，那么狠啊！狗数没有。你妈的Dark，我真的是日了。哦，我们看一下，跳飞龙还是虫洞？
Oh no, I mean, definitely I think I agree with everything like the desk was saying, you know, play a bit safer versus Shin, go to the late game because your advantage there, but it's just not in Dark's nature.
还是跳飞龙。
Hedge your bets? No, he's gonna rush Mutalisks as fast as possible.
那现在这个时间点，软格洛克绝逼是认为自己是优势啊。他已经判断Dark是一个跳飞龙的，是一个出蟑螂的一攻蟑螂的开局了。就看这个飞龙能不能起到一个关键性的作用。
The problem is he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, is there a Ling Flood? Is it going to be Roaches? And without that information, Shin will be hard pressed to make any correct decision.
Is there a world where you think he
这个跳飞龙跳的真的有点偷，妈什么都没有，浑身上下就3个女王。
I think it would be a bit too late with his lair timing. Of course, you could still do like a delayed one, but the Mutalisks are almost certainly going to be out before that Nidus Swarm goes down.
Munas are great, and they will eventually clean up roaches, but if you only have a few Munas to deal with a whole bunch of roaches and queens, maybe even drones hopping out of a Nidus to build spore crawlers on the other side of the map.
这种时间点飞龙出来，妈的，这人都傻了，我靠！你3冠还快那么快？
He needs to make the decision right here, right now, and even that's cutting it close. Seems like that is not going to be the case. Kind of feels
进去看一眼，妈发现飞龙已经在按了。
Yeah, with such a, I mean,
那这盘的话，这个局面Dark就在接下来的一段时间里面就会比较主动啊。这个飞龙出来之后啊，Dark可以狂捕农民。软格洛克一点办法都没有。
Really? Really? Already finished at 5 minutes? You know that your opponent has been very naughty in the opening stage.
One of the most difficult things about playing against Mutalisks
小狗升一攻，应该要把这个毒爆虫科技放一下。 他直接龙狗了。 那然后那个要进行一个防守了，暂时就不要想出门的事情。Dark这个跳飞龙有一个很关键的一个点，就是你在就对手的每一条的路口一定要都放一个就一个东西来看侦查对方有没有出门。 因为他万一这个蟑螂悄悄的摸出去，你如果没看到的话就很伤。
Yeah, I mean, you could take a very late fourth because Dark is going Mutiling Bane. You are going to be more efficient if you can get Infestors out to fungal the Banelings and the Mutas. But he's stuck. I mean, Shin doesn't have any other choices. Normally, when the Mutas arrive, you're meant to be up 10, 12, 15 drones because you've got no map, you've got no vision. In this case, Shin has been
这个是他飞龙达到临界点。
So he is playing from exceptionally far behind.
现在的飞龙数量还是不够啊。大可没有做这个细节。其实，大可如果变3个房子，在3条路口上，就在3个眼虫，在3个路口全部放一个眼虫，基本上就大可这个防守，就这个战术基本上是无解的。就软杆洛克的蟑螂不可能通过埋地的手段溜出去，哎，强行吃女王，但这个飞龙还没到临界点啊。
The vast majority of these queens have fallen, and this is a nightmare start to this best of 5 for Shin.
He needed perfect.
还在爆飞龙。
If they were pre-split, he could have defended them from the Zerglings, but even then, the Mutap count alone is getting out of control, and this has just been a very
强行点女王，强行来，
completely off guard.
点防空，第一把，但定不死，还有第2把，但这个飞龙已经散开了，没有用。 回去了呀，回去防守了呀，他什么意思啊？他不防守吗？他觉得后续能够挡得住这个一攻蟑螂？虽然好像是不多啊，这一攻蟑螂，蟑螂是不多，但有埋地你很烦的呀。对，你只能飞龙回去这个时间点。
Don't really see this going anywhere for Shin, unfortunately, in game 1.
It's a great build order for Dark to play if he thinks he's a big underdog. It's incredibly surprising for the player who's such a favorite to do such a wild opening build order.
问题呢，说实话倒不是很大。飞龙也是已经完全憋出来了，这个飞龙你一个防空是守不住的。 大可直接要一蹴而就了，直接要打开一个缺口了，这波。2个防空其实也可以强打，这个飞龙已经突破临界点太多了。 直接绕进去，直接破防空，2下就一个防空，太多了这防空，这个飞龙数量切进去，好了，你没办法了，2个地堡完全没有用，完了，突破临界点了这飞龙，感染虫的位置也被发现了，大哥可以提前散。 提前散，对散，你根本就打不死，地不死，你这个感染虫输出不够。家里面也在被搞啊，但家里面这个你总能守得住的呀，变个眼虫就好了呀。 大概有点乱，他没有变眼虫，他应该变眼虫的，每个矿都变一个眼虫，其实这个就随便守了。好了，守住一线，第2线也守住了，还有2矿这点蟑螂，还在溜，还在各种的溜。 但这个飞龙怎么解决呢？还是你光靠感染虫没有用，女王也解决不了。这个飞龙现在有点无敌。
Oh, there it is. Okay, the Overseer does come down. He finds these roaches. So many Mutalisks. Oh my lord. There's not even a Carapace upgrade. We know Carapace is one of the most important upgrades fighting against Mutiling Bane. Because you've got all these small bits of bounce damage, Zergling damage. If you can get +2 Carapace, it
不停的用这个埋地蟑螂来拖延时间啊！你转刺蛇也有问题，如果转刺蛇的话，别人直接转毒爆就好了。哎呦，小狗也在溜。
He's playing well, but he's just in a terrible spot. I think what he's got to do here is clear the slate mentally and think about the next game. You can't be going into this thinking like, okay, this is going to happen again. You've got to say this is a one-off surprise.
哎，有没有电？
no worries. Let's just go into game 2 and imagine it's a fresh series.
94 supply, couple queens, couple
Dark 的飞龙不太敢上了，因为他不知道感染虫在哪。
But I believe they call this the hopium or the cope. Somewhere in the middle. Like, it would make sense to still try to make something of this game if you had Hive, right? Because it doesn't matter, even if they have 60 Mutalisks, you land a couple of sick Parabombs, and you combine that with a Fungo or two, where the Fungo is more about keeping those Mutas together, you can make magical comebacks. But of Lair Tech with a couple of Hydras that don't have upgrades. As you said, the man has no economy, and Hydras are actually somewhat expensive.
I love the
强行破，强行破。
Shin's looking for the small gains right now. The little value.
感染虫，哎呀，没盯到。
And the Mutalisks are going to continue circling.
我记得我有一次也是 ZVZ， 然后跟黄哥打，然后他爆了很多飞龙，被我7、8个感染虫妈全部定完了。 但当时的感染虫是没有弹道的。
And it's also so comfortable and rare you get to play Mutaling against Roach. So starting the series like this is a very freeing feeling. It's very fun.
Almost feels that Dark is trying to set some sort of record here for highest amount of mutas in a single game. He's going to drop the Baneling Nest now as well. Maybe thinks like, all right, Shin, if you're going to have that many spores, I do need to.
这局面就是出这个毒爆的。你毒爆待会儿滚过去，那他感染虫必然要先定你毒爆，先解决毒爆才行。不然不解决毒爆的话，那毒爆待会儿滚到了自蛇，那他就没有输出了。
I think he's just ready to roll a whole bunch of Banelings forward. Fungo is actually kind of decent against Banes, so that's something that Dark has to keep in mind. But
it's surprising how late the Banelings nest is, really. Normally Banelings are a big part of this, but you can tell Dark was like, no, every bit of gas goes to Mutalisks. Like, we're just going to have a crazy count, and he used it really well with the Zerglings coming in also. Honestly, I would normally say, okay, you know, the game yet, but you gotta realize, like, Dark's just like, well, you don't normally finish the game instantly with mutas. You take your time and you just pick away at them. Oh, okay. Bit clump there, but doesn't take.
没定到几条，还好吧。
Not really matter.
对，关键是定不死。这个要打这个飞龙，一定要定住之后，然后直接用。 哇靠！哎，直接用赤蛇来进行消灭这波飞龙，要么就升3本出飞蛇，都可以，反正。
I really look at games like this purely from the side of Shin, the player who is in a 0.1% win percentage chance position. Maybe not 0.1, it's probably a bit harsh. Say 1%. And I look at them and I think, you know, what's your mentality here? Because there's two reactions you have to a series starting wrong that you commonly see. One is, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. Oh no, and everything that happens that's bad for you in the game kind of hurts your mentality more and more. And then there's other players who kind of just go, well, this happened, I'm in a terrible spot. You know what? Let's just play it out.
看这波毒爆了，毒爆滚过来肯定要定，你不定不可能的。哇靠！大哥你妈简直就不是人，那么多毒爆。
I don't think he's been very happy ever since he spotted that 5-minute spire where he was already like, oh really?
It's finished?
Yeah, that's
5 minutes, really?
来了呀！毒爆来了，感染虫呢？为什么不定？第二波毒爆定，这一定要定。直接一波了，家里面已经守不住了，家里面。
He basically needs to win the fight, he needs to deal with the remixes, he needs to take out all the buildings as well. It feels almost impossible, but hey, that is
继续变毒爆，现在只能继续变毒爆。然后飞龙散开，你妈的用传说中的乾坤大挪移，这也是我的绝学。哎，直接感染，这样的话你感染虫有点跟不上啊，怎么办？赤蛇暴露在外面了，完了，赤蛇全倒。 飞龙散开，完了，太多了飞龙。他怎么你妈打成黄哥了嘛？妈脱节了部队。
risky Mutalisk rush, one which you foreshadowed. You called it. You said he did this exact same thing against Solar back in Atlanta, and he's pulling it out again. A massive way to start off the series.
Yeah, and that's kind of Shin is probably chuckling as well because these guys always do their homework, and I'm sure.
啊，朗格拉洛克不管赢了输了，他都在笑。
Okay, well he should know that I'm gonna take a look at that game. If the casters know it, Shin should absolutely know it too. And it's like, yeah, Dark is probably going to make it look like he's doing that, but then do something completely different. And that's what CVZ is often about, right? You show something, you want to try to tell a story to your opponent, but you're actually going down.
大哥的打法有点偷，这直接跳飞龙，妈个鸡什么都没有，给人感觉是一个一弓蟑螂的感觉，只能说他战术打成功了。
It feels like he isn't there furiously crunching numbers like other players.
这波本来橄榄虫在正面的话还能打。
The damage takes him a while to shave Shin down and get him completely out of the game. But it was basically lights out from the 7-minute mark. The moment he got in and took out all the queens.
现在这些飞龙你光靠橄榄虫的输出是不够的，别人又不傻，不可能他妈定就在一个就聚在一起给你定。
I just don't really see a way where you can secure a 4th base with enough anti-air to be like, yeah, I want to go up to 4 bases now. So I guess then you have like 2 choices. Either you were going for the super early all-in, or you say, all right, 3 bases is what it is, and you get double or even triple spore per base, and then you drop the infestation pit, and you try to make it up to Hive. Because Vipers truly are absolutely fantastic against Mutalisk, even if you are amazing as a Zerg player like Zero or Dark in finding that Muta that gets power bombed. If you're looking at 3 or 4 Vipers, even by the time you split them off, they already deal with tremendous amount of damage.
They just get shredded, and they fall apart. I mean, we occasionally see those splits where someone gets like 3 mutas out of the pack quickly, but you're not doing that more than once. It's
我第一眼就看他们有没有造农民啊。
Speaking of brutal,
这盘又是正常开。
So unpredictable, he's always got a nasty trick up his sleeve. At the top right side of the map in the red, it's Dark.
偷一个都一样，偷一个农民直接下去开矿。
First tournament representing his new org with that great announcement video, by the way, that was a lot of fun, featuring Tasteless, Gemini, Ziggy.
两个人的这个 ZVZ 在这张地图上理解是一模一样。
That made it into the semi-finals last year over here in Poland, representing Mystery Gaming. This is Shin.
Both players going for a 15 hatchery build. This is the safe opening in the matchup right now. Solaris is a match where we do see a lot of 12 pools and 12 pool drone pools. Both players are saying, how can I be safe? Well, if I go 15 hatchery, 15 pool, I can get my queens and zerglings out.
哭本你妈的进不了 REM， 你们能那有什么办法吗？他连 REM 都进不了。
But actually, well, Shin is following it up with.
顺便我说随便说一嘴啊，
He's doing the old build.
夜蝶的这个名额就是去韩国赛区抢回来的。本来夜蝶是去不了这个卡托维兹的，他去韩国赛区真的一个出现的名额。
And then you flood zerglings, and it is an insanely heavy amount of zerglings. It is so hard to stop. Basically, as Dark, you need to just get your queens together on your ramp. You need to pull a bunch of drones, because he's going to be probably up 10, 12, 13 workers, and you can lose a lot of those and still hold and be okay, but you need to react very quickly.
Would Shin take Dark to your favorite town pick?
Oh, I think he's definitely wanting to after that game 1. I think he'd like to take him on a nice trip around that town, my friend.
这个开局两边都一样，这个开
As
局
a。big fan of your stream, I know the town you're talking about, and I have an idea about the build. You call it.
好，先击狗树
Speed is on the way.
，Dark 这边气况比较慢。
Chilling outside of the natural, so he probably thinks everything up to this point looks pretty similar to what I have done. We obviously know that in the main base that is not the case. I do love this approach, by the way, from Shin. This is also the map with all the exploration zones in the center, which can make things.
他难道这个图他又要
For him to have a real shot in this best
又要一弓蟑螂
he
吗？
needs to do what he does best. That's make a lot of units early and just freaking send it. I don't want to say close your eyes because we want to micro a little bit. We want to make sure that we know what we run into. But these are the builds that we all expect to see out of him. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I do believe this is his best shot.
这你没有狗树，你只能选择升2本啊！你不然开3矿的话，你肯定会被压着。
But his wall off was so freaking late anyway. Even on Delta, his wall off is mega late.
Absolutely. With this build, like even if you start it on time, the Lings are way too early. You need to defend your ramp. He'll have 4 queens on his ramp, which is great. The problem is he's got nothing else.
直接爆狗一波了。大哥这边要3个建筑才能够把这个堵死啊！啊，女王过来清房子，
Oh yeah, you can see the tongue poking.
细节非常好。
Please don't see this. Please don't see this. Please don't
Like
see
nothing to
this.
see here,
哎，
guys.
还是看到了。
All the Zerglings and Dark is gonna have to
赶快再赌一个，再赌一个，再赌一个，3个
He is gonna try to wall off. We've got 2 Evo Chambers and a Roach Warren, 1
你妈软干洛克为什么会用这种战术嘛？我真招不住了。大克已经在赌第2层了，你敢信？ 再赌一个，再赌一个，好，赌死可以。
That is the Great Wall of Dark, and I gotta say that first Evo Chamber is buying an immense amount of time.
这你妈的我看不懂了，这软干洛克他打什么呀？他在
Queen up front getting transfused. The Evo Chamber
这种战术怎么可能打得死大克嘛？
I think this is a whole Dark with a crisp wall off. He's already killed so many Zerglings. This is
好
massive.
的，蟑螂塔
Actually very big.
已经裂很裂了，这已经2切了已经。
Perfect. When he dropped those buildings, the Lings are gonna work on it. Felt that the Lings weren't totally certain.
那么多狗，
Go for it first.
干嘛你还来？
In a kind of an awkward spot, obviously. This is still not cheap, right? Like it's a fantastic hold for Dark, but Dark lost his Roach Warren. Dark is now
他还要打一波吗？狗毒爆！
in his natural. Those were 5 Evos that obviously
他他妈还打一波，我人傻了，我靠！
did nothing. Shin also has map control. He's got Zergling speed.
Yeah.
I believe there is a
这个一波，我说真的，大克绝逼想不到，因为没有投那么铁的人的。
Still building a couple of Zerglings now. Oh my goodness.
这一波因为是软格拉克觉得是把蟑螂的这个科技啊点掉了之后，他觉得有机会。后续还在爆狗，还在爆狗，看他第一波能变几个毒爆，应该能够变个10个毒爆左右吧。
Massling Bane is just that. Blocks the changeling. The problem is the overseer is going to get the main.
Yep.
The overseer getting the
好，
main.
他上面拉婆狗去变毒爆了，
Yeah, no layer.
7个毒爆不够，7个毒爆不够，过来看到了，什么都没有。
Exactly.
What the hell is going on?
大哥赶紧按蟑螂，再赌一层，他知道你要毒爆撞进来了。
Oh, not even spines, just roaches. Anything to survive. He's holding off with 3 more evos.
这你妈
Yep.
Amazing.
We're gonna build nothing but
来了，不够呀，7个毒爆，7个毒爆肯定不够，
It is going to fall. The Broodlings will
你炸不进去了呀，完了完了完了，结束了。
is absolutely perfect over here for Dark. And we have seen this before. This doesn't go well for Zerglings. If it all does that Evos, the Broodlings come out as well to buy some time. The Lings are looking for a surround, but Dark is not gonna give it to Shin.
No, Dark is all over this. That initial
妈，瞬间这个游戏打成了塔防，
stopped in his tracks.
大克2比0啊！
Dark has figured something out, and that is, you know what? Let's just skip the link speed part of the game. Shin's really good at that. I don't even want to skirmish with him.
第一波没打进去，基本上就完了。
He can block the all-ins with wall-offs as he's shown. That was perfect layered Evo chambers.
没有，其实我跟你们说，这一盘是软格纳洛克自己的问题，他是有机会的。第一波狗你稍微慢点出来，把正面这个房子再赶走一下，往下面绕一下，他就有可能一波把大克打出来。因为大克是看到他的狗过来之后才封口的。
Absolutely loved the defense there. That was not easy.
他太心急了，狗叔一好他就往前走了，但是被大克第一个房子看到了。
You're gonna catch up rather quickly. You're the one with map control. Dark is walled in. Sure, Dark has a lair, but he doesn't have road speed yet. He doesn't have anything that's like massive.
Yeah.
I believe that's the spot that Shin could have played a quote-unquote normal game from, but he didn't want to. He doubled down.
2比
the
0，
scout by Dark.
大克已经拿到赛点了。
Because Dark did actually queue up.
不愧是你妈阳春第一打手
But，then the changeling got picked off.
沸羊羊，我
Okay,
靠！
let's send the overseer into the main, and he saw everything. No lair, very low drone count, the baneling nest, and at that point he's like, cool, more Evo chambers.
In no world did Shin expect the lair to be finished, right? He thought, oh, you see this Ling flood, you probably cancel.
哎，不过按道理来说，我觉得沸羊羊的体积你妈的比那个灰太狼大多了，不应该沸羊羊你妈都要打灰太狼吗？妈，为什么每次妈的这种动画里面这些妈的这些羊看到狼妈这脚都在抖？
It's a gamble for a reason. Gambles don't always work, and taking that risk does end up costing him big. Down here in the bottom left side, he is looking for a ridiculously dominant finish here to go through to the top 4. In the bottom left of the
剧本我来写，食草动物，你妈的！
Looking so damn good. I really do feel that he's been looking better than last year's Katowice, where he had an
Yes.
alright run.
好，双方开局还是跟上盘一模一样。
Crazy, this doesn't make too much sense.
15农民下去开基地，
Complete control of almost everything that he's been doing in most of his matches up to this point. This man last year caused one of the biggest upsets in StarCraft 2 IEM Katowice history. He's gonna have to pull another one off like that. He's in serious trouble here in the quarterfinals. Can he turn things around? Mystery Gaming's Shin.
干死黄旭东！
Right now, pick from
这你
qualifying
妈
for！the Esports World Cup.
Massive.
黄哥不在，黄哥
Such a huge
可惜了。
thing. You know, getting through to there, it's obviously so much more guaranteed money, prestige, the chance to compete on another huge stage later on in the year would be massive, but still that $500,000 and the trophy here as well. So it is just stacking up benefits if he can finish this match.
这一盘两边都是慢气，都是慢气，完全镜像的开局。
Wouldn't hate to see like a somewhat normal game entering into a lair, right, where both of them fire up a lair at the same time, and we take it from there to see who gets the best of who when it comes down to walking around with all those roaches. It did feel that Shin had great multitasking with all those burrowed roaches that he was spreading
讲讲我
across
曾经的
different
光
bases
辉
of Dark
事
very
迹，
quick.
不需要讲了，兄弟。首先我老了，对不对？好，正所谓好汉不提当年勇。对你真的要想知道我的光辉事迹，你可以直接去百度孙一峰就好了。你妈的，那么大一串的这种比赛成绩，对不对？每一个都是你妈辛辛苦苦的，辛辛苦苦拿命拼来的。在这边讲就有点过了。
Try and, you know, lean super hard into a certain advantage. But Dark, he has had his number. He's blocked those moves very, very well. And moving into that realm of a more balanced early game, I absolutely agree. Maybe the play for Shin, look for the big swings, the big gambles in the mid game. Set yourself up.
邀功个毛，邀功。
Dark seems to have some very clever openings, but on the other hand, Dark is limiting himself to 2 bases. He's never taking a fast third. He's doing the same opening once again, and he's never going link speed. So you yourself can play quite greedy with no link speed threat, and you can out expand him by taking a third.
Yes, but you can't also be 100% certain of that because this is still Dark, and he's also willing to switch it up at any given moment. And any of the builds that Shin is capable of, Dark can throw them at you as well. Shin is gonna do what you said though, Pig. Be like, all right, you're gonna be greedy. I'm just gonna try.
王阿洛克两边都好像是一弓当狼的开局啊，真的打得一模一样。
Yeah, I mean, it would be wild, I think, for Dark to do very fast mutas again, but the exact same thought crossed my mind where I was like, is it? Are they both going to do it? It's a possibility. A bit more likely in these scenarios to see
一条狗都不造。
muta, where it's just a few mutalisks
Well,
and
that's
then go
what
back into
Solar.
roaches.
Yeah, but that's what Solar tried to do against Dark. But the Roach Muta is just so much worse.
王格纳洛克3气，那有可能是要出飞龙的。生的小狗一攻，那应该是要出飞龙的。这边是出现了一些变化。
Is maybe expecting a build like this coming out of Shin. I really wonder.
Dark 就是一个很常规的一弓当狼。这个飞龙我们看一下。龙狗啊，这边龙狗。 感谢英巴西西的火箭，感谢英巴西西。
Pretty amazing. Spire has started for Shin. I feel like the Overseer Scout's going to be important, and we are now on Shin's camera. He's seen on the left side of his minimap a Overlord.
这是王阿洛克第一视角。
For him, it's all going to be about keeping an eye on his minimap and denying Overseers coming into Scout his Spire. It's entering his main base. There we go. You see how quick he is to respond?
能看到飞龙塔吗？ 感觉看不到。
So where's the changeling?
He's also going to try to scout OZ properly.
他一定要往里面切，因为他要知道你到底是不是飞龙塔。
He is clearly looking for a Spire too, but there is no Spire on Dark side. At least there wasn't last time we checked.
哎呀，都看到了，没有飞龙塔。
And
Dark as well. Dark also saw the Spire with his changeling, so slight oversight for Shin.
Dark 也侦查到了王阿洛克的飞龙塔。刚才有个拟态图从看到，龙塔在2矿呢。
Is there now a Spire? Is it a Hydrogen? Is it an Infestation Pit? How is Dark responding? He has to play a guessing game. +1 melee and link speed are both almost finished. He's going to get across and pressure with those units.
If there is a Spire for Dark, though, I almost think that he should play Corruptors, right?
Most likely. Having +1 range and roaches.
虫洞女王蟑螂一波，这个狗逼！
Very nice. He's already got an Overseer sliding to the back of his base. Shin knows about it though. His queens aren't damaging it.
不会吧？不会吧？这个虫洞应该是第一时间飞龙出来，应该是先把房子抓了的。
This could be a big moment as well. You don't want to throw away too many Zerglings and the roaches.
啊，虫洞在这里，那这个，哎呀，这个狗逼大可呀，用 用这种战术去打软格纳洛克，我有一计，妈的，直接换家，直接换家，不要跟他搞，在家里面守就是等死。直接换家，对，直接换家。把这个点了呀，把这个虫洞，他回不来了。但这个虫洞卡的位置很好。但是飞龙无敌了，还有5条飞龙，正面也在拼，两边都在拼。虫洞点了，虫洞点了，虫洞点了。Most of the time when it gets this close, there might be some units stuck by the way in this night as the worm is going to get picked off. There is no more transfuse to save it. 双方都很紧啊，这波直接上来，感觉2个地方秒不掉。感觉2个赢了呀，这把赢了呀，防空也没起来，大克已经没货了，2矿已经被打穿了，大克。赢了，赢了，赢了！你妈让你虫洞一波，我靠！虫洞打的真的太关键了。后续关键是飞龙是不停出的，大可已经守不住飞龙了，这飞龙太多了，防控已经没有用了。GG， 2比1，笑了笑了笑了，妈的，绝对是笑本，笑了。看到没有，哥的智力高不高？ 就他这波最关键就把虫洞给直接秒了，虫洞秒了之后，你正面就没有压力了。女王打完之后，虫洞秒了，基本上就赢了。感谢球奶年终奖，没有7位数的一个飞机，感谢兄弟，你妈的7位数，兄弟，7位数你要越南那个钱吗？还是缅甸的钱？韩币好吧，100万韩币。妈的，100万韩币多少人民币嘛，兄弟们？ And then Shin's work account is incredibly low, but wasn't able to do it. He kind of just clicked it, right click behind the spawning pool, took a lot of damage, allowed Zerglings and Mutas to catch up, and we've got a series. And that's obviously everything in the quarterfinals of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice in the bottom right side of Oceanborn. Still playing a series, very close to closing it. 那你妈说实话，年终奖的话，烧5000块钱好像稍微少了一点。
And in the top left side of the map, striking back, but he's still on his final life. He has to win this game and the next to close out the series. In the top left for Mystery Gaming, it's Shin.
5410。我年终奖多少？我妈我都是发年终奖的人，妈的我有毛年终奖。 And to make a call like that when you haven't scouted the Nidus, just a moment where you just build 1 drone, 2 drone, and you hear that terrifying Nidus sound, to then immediately grab everything, run to the other side of the map. Like you don't have a couple seconds to think about it. Because if you think about it for a little while, it's already too late. You just need to do it immediately, follow that gut instinct. A very ballsy call, but he got rewarded for it.
It's going to be a more conservative opening for both sides in Game 4. No more, well, not conservative, I should say, more standard. They were playing very safe with the
一丰银行已经倒闭了，已经没有，再也没有一丰银行了。
So far in this series, we've seen 3 games that look so different to say a Serral vs Reynor match. there's a lot of players where they'll play, fast ling speed, taking third bases. That's the very standard way of playing the matchup where you're scouting, you're interacting, there's a constant back and forth. The way there's been these kind of quick wall-offs from Dark, it's basically said, hey, you can't scout me early, I'm rushing tech, and it creates a much fiercer dynamic of this tech either works or it doesn't work. One player has the
好了，我们来看这一场，
The Nidus Worm can
又是一个镜像的开局。
going for the Mutiling Bane, Beats going for mutas back into roaches. You've got these very sharp tech choices, and neither player was willing to just kind of
一
defend.
丰银行赚过钱吗？
Now, off a hatch gas pool opening,
好像从来没有，
back and forth Ling Bane war.
Wouldn't hate it. I mean,
没有赚钱，但是好像也没有亏钱，因为我一丰银行给他妈貔貅还有狗哥开出的这个存款的这个条件，他们都不接受。妈的，给他们对吧？存在我这边4个点。你存100万，1年之后对吧？只能给你96万。
Just go straight into Ling Roach, but that is risky because if you then miss a few Banes morphing on your side of the map and the aggression shows up before the Roaches are out in high numbers, it could be the end of your CVZ.
Being then that's on the way for both sides. Third Queen starts up.
不是，这4个点是我他妈要管理费的呀！我靠，本金放心肯定在的，对不对？对啊，肯定扣4个点，他妈的难道给4个点呐？
On the way, so Shin will put on some form of forwards pressure. Not a massive though, as he does go back to droning.
Yep. It feels like these are just the safety links, and obviously you can poke a little bit and be annoying on the other side of the map. You can scout properly with it, and the moment that Dark sees that amount of links, Dark's going to make those links as well. Now Dark is probably going to do it of 1 or 2 drones more than when Shin fired up those units, so Dark's going to have a very tiny economic advantage, but that's kind of it. Roach Warren going down as well.
大个反正以一个防守为主啊，两边其实都还是以防守为主，都只变了一个毒爆。
Great minds think alike, Roddy. Great minds think alike.
哎呀，蟑螂这个蟑螂的位置是藏了一下，这个藏了一下，不知道会不会选择直接蟑螂狗毒爆一波。
Massive signs of an attack for Dark, but Shin, he's building extra overlords. He's banking up money. Looks like Shin wants to go for a quick roach bailing attack off 38 drones.
The Solar special.
His favorite build indeed. Solar is an expert at just decapitating nerds with this build, but it's been a mainstay in the Korean scene, especially for a while. I remember the Europeans weren't doing it, and now they are. You know,
it's
such a scary attack.
朗格拉洛克反而是率先打一波嘛，他不是，他是蟑螂出来之后先走一波，然后再补农民。这边我们看一下，这个应该大河的第一视角。
As Dark has a couple of links and a few Bane links on the other side of the map, but he's going to see these roaches, and now we wonder how is Dark going to react. I don't think Dark is Omega concerned by seeing this.
那这种很像一波啊，那么多蟑螂。
He has a roach one. He can fire up his own roaches. He obviously sees that these roaches are slow, and he did.
走到一半回家。对这个。
Like not very many roaches at all.
那这时候大概要怎么样？补农民还是打一波？这时候其实补农民是最好的，不要打一波，没有意义。
He basically just did such a small response there, did Dark. Very chilled out.
大概也要这样骗一下，也是到你门口之后，然后蟑螂狗就回家。朗格拉洛克的这几波的这个侦查不错，看到2本了，那基本上确定你不会打一波了。
Very curious to see what's happening on the other side of the map. What's on the production tab for Shin?
Yeah.
Dark has been trying to scout, but it's just been hard, right? Because Shin has been kind of in his face, has been showing him units, has been running lings around.
What an interesting thing. I was confused. I thought he built only a few roaches because he didn't have any roaches on a control group. But
Dark
is just a very unique player in how he organized it. His lings and banes were on control groups. His roaches weren't. And he moved out for like a fake counter attack and immediately.
这个龙塔其实很精髓啊，就是你这龙塔放着就放着了。如果说被侦查到了，别人如果要过来打你，你就按蟑螂就好了。飞龙可以待会儿出，反正我随时随刻都可以出。两边都是飞龙。那大克如果说第一时间侦查到朗格拉洛克的飞龙的话，有可能会选择用腐化。看到了，有可能会用腐化来打飞龙啊。 看大哥的选择是什么样。腐化打飞龙其实也可以打，不是说不可以打。
But it's super interesting to see if this overseer can get deep enough. It's really not starting to look like it. I don't think we have a Zergling
进不去，进不去，这肯定进不去。
That is going to confirm that there is a Spire. We can't forget everything that has happened on Oceanborn. That's the game where Dark reactively dropped a Nidus network after he scouted that Spire.
再看一眼，确认你飞龙了。 短暂就软阿洛克在没有侦查到大克龙塔的情况下，他肯定出的是飞龙，那大克肯定要出腐化，这个不可能不出腐化的。
The fact that he's going +2 range and more roaches, it doesn't feel like he's just leaning into mass muter of his own.
No.
But we'll see exactly what happens, of course. I'm also curious to see Shin's production tab because we don't see any
7个腐化
just yet. And I feel like Mutalisk upgrades are fantastic.
不够啊，腐化其实这个兵种，最怕的就是飞龙数量一下子突破临界点，你腐化扛不住，因为腐化没有飞龙快，打起来的话你只能跑，如果打不过的话。
Shin is also investing in +2 missile attacks, but like Mutas need to really be in way higher numbers than Corruptus to have a big impact.
第一波就用女王来守，没有问题，腐化出来了。
Dark tried to hide the Corruptus there for a split second. Honestly, it almost feels that the air units are going to cancel each other out, and Shin I think is aware of that, so he's queuing up.
你们飞龙打得过腐化，你在想什么呢，兄弟？这么点飞龙，你怎么打腐化？
With his own roaches, that's a pretty big play pick.
Gets 2 overlords and 2 mutalisks as well. Pretty good pickoffs for Dark to counter it. Losing the 4th does suck, but
出腐化有一个好处就是，他这波腐化待会儿不仅是可以打房子，对吧？我还可以喷你的基地，你也没有办法。像这种时候直接喷基地了，直接可以喷基地了。 啊，他没喷，他直接先杀房子也没问题，两边都在杀房子，继续杀，再杀，我靠，这房子杀爽了。需要看地面了，地面感觉两个人也差不多。 哎呦，有腐化，你这个强行换火蟑螂，被包了，软阿洛克。用火直接跑，但这个腐化这个时候就可以偷基地去了。妈个鸡，这个偷基地你怎么办？这个偷基地，软阿洛克没有办法，强行给你换了大哥这边，家里面的基地也肯定要掉。 这个就是腐化的好处，很硬，少量飞龙根本就打不过。找机会再偷，还可以杀房子，我靠！
Dark's 4th base is now finished in mining. Shin finally restarts his 4th base.
And Shin is making pretty early Hydras too, but Hydras are not.
从上面绕过来，先占位置，先占位置。那刺蛇的科技还没升好呢，这波很伤啊。我感觉软阿洛克要输啊这波。哎，这里有点失误啊，大哥。啊，这边还在喷。 守不住，这肯定要被喷掉。就看正面能不能打穿。火蟑螂其实有点少，大哥应该多点火蟑螂。正面直接来，火蟑螂太少了，火蟑螂大哥这一盘的这个火蟑螂实在是少的可怜啊！如果说有个7、8个火蟑螂，可能局面完全不是这样子了，直接拖农民了，一定要挡住这波。 强行莽进去，守住了。但大克这个农民非常的少，现在战斗人口是领先很多，腐化可以继续的去搞事儿啊，腐化。然后感觉自己要输了。 对，刚才火蟑螂多就不会打成这样了。他主要火蟑螂一扫的话，你别人稍微调整一下，对吧？不用拉的很多，就可以躲掉你的火。
Those defenses, the Corruptors have just been too effective, killing so many of his hatcheries, canceling multiple of them as well. Shin is on desperation.
这很难挡得住啊！你还出门，你凭什么去骚扰？我就问一句，你这边不可能守得住的呀！那么多火蟑螂，直接莽过来就好了。你这莽了呀！妈个鸡，那么多的蟑螂，我靠！记了。
And Shin knows that this is an army that can possibly stop. Dark looked like a very complete ZVZ.
哇靠，这房子！
He's willing to be crazy. He's willing to be solid. He's willing to do scout and react. Dark was perfect.
换完了，换 GG 了。
Dropped one map, but overall a very convincing W for the man who's representing his new organization, Talon Esports. Dark will be making it to the Esports World Cup this summer, and Dark
GG 了。
lifting that IEM trophy for the first time in his career.
A massive run so far.
GG.
And he seals the deal.
长出一口气啊！
Fantastic. In the dynamic Zerg vs Zerg matchup, he brings out some special tactics, and they pay off with great rewards. A dominant 3-1 victory for Dark.
Great hold on Solaris after he saw it rather late. All those links were heading his way. We're like,
不会笑本，输了也在笑。
That's actually okay. And then he scouted again because, as you said, that lair, it did not get cancelled. Often Zerg players cancel their lair if they feel like they're getting all in because they need their hands on all the resources. Dark let the lair finish up, so he had an overseer. Overseers allow you to scout perfectly against a Zerg that has never.
哎呀，只有芬兰，只有你妈的沸羊羊才能够干得过主宰的呀，没有人能打得过主宰现在。哎，这个比赛 IEM 的比赛，我感觉主宰又是冠军。下面这4个人数我再说一遍，大可有那个这个马入有可能打得过 CN， 只是有可能，好吧，可能性并不高，所以说。
It's kind of frustrating. You either look like a genius or you look a bit silly doing that one, and Dark just was so on point that he shut it down.
This was definitely the game where Shin was able to shine a little. He was down.
河马，你妈河马那个 TVT， 他怎么可能出得了线？你们在想什么呢？
I'm okay. If I can pull the drones, immediate reinforcements, send a couple of units back through that Nidus network, I'm going to be okay. But Shin picked it off, canceled the spore as well.
你妈的，我不说别的，河马能进半决赛，老子直播倒立，我靠！先说啊，是直播倒立，不是倒立吃屎啊！那我能倒立得上去吗？ 到时候让我儿子帮我一下。
No, he was picking up bases. He was denying vision by sniping every single overlord. A very impressive display of ZVZ skill by Dark. Let's hear from him as he's on stage with Rachel.
Thank you so much. Very exciting matches from Dark and Shin. Dark, you're looking good. Are you feeling good right now?
我他妈又不是 nose 他力，你妈的每天骗吃骗喝，我靠！
기분이 좋으셨을 텐데 지금 기분이 좀 어떠신가요? 기분은 무척 좋고요. 그리고 오늘 좀 컨디션이 안 좋았는데 현장에 와서 이제 메인 스테이지에 앉아서 준비를 하니까 이제 많은 관중분들이 보이더라고요. 그래서 어제 말씀.
哎呀，他待会儿就被淘汰了，你妈的 TV 他怎么可能打得过 Q 嘛？
So of course I'm feeling good right now, and before coming to the stage.
以前我记得什么李培南、田战己，他们你妈这种读法都是什么怎么输了什么倒立旋转吃屎。 我想了想，光是倒立这件事情对我来说就有一个对我来说是一种挑战。你妈更不要说什么倒立旋转再加吃屎。
Picked up 3 wins. You did drop the 1 map. Talk to me a little bit about that match with Shin on game 3.
그래도 이제 3대0 승리를 거두실 수 있을 거라고 좀 봤는데 좀 3세트는 좀 아쉽게 내줬잖아요. 그래서 3세트 때는 좀 뭐가 잘못되셨는지 그게 좀 궁금하네요.
저도 3대0으로 끝날 줄 알았는데
히보미가 정말 날카로운.
那这样的话，上半区的半决赛就是沸羊羊要对主宰啊，对 Cero，
속으로는 자기 뺨을 좀 때리면서
还是一场 TVZ。
말고 정신 차리자.
反正今天决赛肯定是 TVZ。
임한 게 좀 승리의 요인이 될 것 같아요.
我不希望 Cero 去决赛的原因，是因为 Cero 去决赛其实悬念就不大了，就 Cero 太强了，这个预期。Dark 如果去呢，还是有悬念的。至少他在Dark在小组赛是输给了就0-2输给了马路。
This is once again another opportunity for you to go all the way to the championship. So how does your history here at IEM weigh on your mind, affect your games? Does it drive you? Does it hold you down?
이제 계속 이제 우승을 위해서 좀 한 발짝 가까이 가셨음에도 불구하고 이제 계속 좀 뭔가 2% 부족해서 계속해서 좀 떨어지셨는데 그래도 이번에 그래도 4강까지 올라오시게 되셨으니까 IEM 무대에서 한번 우승을 좀 노려보실 수 있으실지 좀 각오가 좀 어떠신지 궁금하네요. 뭐 목표는 우승이라고 말씀드렸는데
你妈的是张飞！哎，你别说，他真的如果去搞，然后装饰一下，给他个你妈的丈八蛇矛，真的有点像张飞的。关键他本身就比较黑，我靠。
8강까지도 좀 긴장을 많이 하면서 게임을 임했어요. 근데 이제 4강에 올라온 만큼 좀 마음이 되게 편해졌고 내려놓고 이제 제 진짜 경기력을 뽐낼 수 있을 것 같아요. So obviously, when I initially coming on this stage, my initial goal is actually getting out of group stage. And well, yesterday I said I'm going for the championship, but still the nerves still kicks in every time I get to the stage.
你妈张飞要比李逵要猛多了，有一说一啊。 李逵在这种梁山坡里面也不算特别猛的猛人，只是你妈长得有点妈的猛。你真的说打起来，他其实也就这样了。
He didn't choose you. He chose Shin. He would rather play against. But I want to ask you, Dark. Anything you want to say to Cyril? Maybe some fighting words?
이제 세라 선수를 이제 다음에 만나시게 될 텐데 세라 선수가 사실은 박영 선수
梁山坡里面武力天花板应该是那个什么卢俊义，这个应该是最猛的。
세라 선수에게 뭐 한마디 한번 좀 해주시죠. 오늘 보니까 클램 선수도 3대0으로 이기고
接下来可能就林冲了。
네. 뭐 보신 분들은 알겠지만 아틀란타 때 이제 모든 선수들이 세라를 1등으로 뽑았는데 저만 저를 1등으로 뽑았거든요. 그래서 그걸 한번 증명해 보이고 싶고 그냥 재미있는 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
你妈卢俊义还不猛，肯定卢俊义啊！我靠。
back in Atlanta, like everyone else was picking Cyril as a contender, but I picked myself as a contender back in the days. Do you guys remember?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna prove that this is going to be real in IEM Katowice.
大刀关胜，你妈的！我觉得这还有点实力，但是也不算特别猛。
Because by making it to the semifinals, you punch your ticket.
梁山坡加一起能不能打得过张飞？这你妈！如果单挑一个一个上的话，我觉得应该打不过张飞。就如果妈的一个一个上，我说的是一个一个上。这个他进4强了，就等于是他已经进入到了沙特的一个石油杯啊，就是 ESWC 的，就是电子竞技世界杯，他已经晋级到了这个最后的这个名单里面。
But there is more to do. Let's take a look at his most recent matches against Shin and see what's to come.
That's right, of course. Congratulations to Dark, not only being able to make it through into the semi-finals, keeping his hopes alive here in Katowice, but also qualifying for the Esports World Cup. Joining me to my left-hand side, we have Ben as well as Wardy to talk about this one. We almost kind of felt like it was a foregone conclusion here. Dark really did disappoint with a lot of his execution here, Wardy. He was able to really bring the big fight.
哎，但我问一下，就是如果按照这个理论来说的话，因为现在妈的这种妈吹逼嘛，大家吹会儿牛逼。 就吕布猛还是那个项羽猛？就按照我的想法，应该项羽应该要比吕布猛一点。我感觉啊，项羽应该比吕布猛，虽然吕布也很猛。对啊，我也觉得项羽猛。
And when it goes to coming up against the very elite of the elite, like going up against Maru last time round, it was almost impossible. Going up against Dark here, we felt like it was almost impossible. One day, Shin might be able to attain that spot. Just doesn't seem like it.
然后项羽跟那个谁那个李元霸，你们觉得谁猛？我个人感觉应该还是项羽猛一点。虽然李元霸也很猛，项羽第一，李元霸第二，吕布只能排最后一个了。
This, as far as matchups go for a player, you're just playing against somebody that is fundamentally bigger than you, and knows the game better than you, more well-rounded. He was just he was fighting the evolution of himself, or like, yeah, he really was.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do something a bit memey with that, but that's actually really quite accurate. It feels like when it comes to Dark, he is one of the absolute final forms of Zerg when it comes to South Korean Zerg.
Yeah, it's like Pikachu, man. Pikachu gets battered down eventually. Maybe he'll fight back. Yeah, exactly.
那你们意思就是那个时代就是妈的隋唐的时代就是语文程度是最猛的，对吧？什么语文程度，什么秦叔宝这些，你妈已经是最猛的一批了。
But man, at least he's doing well enough to keep on having attempts at it.
He's so on the cusp of breaking into that circle of greatness. He really is. But we will see in future tournaments as time goes on. So
也是虚构的，妈个鸡
！And now confirm our first semi-final for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. It will be Zerg versus Zerg, which now also guarantees us a Zerg versus Terran final. As Serral will go up against Dark.
语文程度也没这个人。那你妈的，那说个毛，那秦叔宝肯定有的呀，对吧？秦叔宝、罗成这种应该还是那在那个时候应该是最猛的。那妈的那个程咬金，我就感觉他妈就是小丑，就他妈三板斧。
He's not losing to anybody, and so far he's not dropped a map, right? Like only player to not do that yet. And I mean, Dark already went up against Reina in the group, and that was one of the few wins that Reina had. So I don't know. I feel that Dark hasn't. I think he's misremembering how good Serral is, because you watch him play, and that's one thing. But when you go up against him, he can really make you feel lost, which that's usually what Dark does to people.
下一场就是碧云对马入了。今天的比赛从现在这个节奏来看还是挺快的。接下来就会比较慢了，因为接下来还是2场 TVT 嘛。
And we also have US Air Force along for the ride as well. So thank you to everybody for joining us. Thank you around the world for watching. Also in the arena right now, or over in the hall, we have a signing session going on with Pig and Loco. So if you're around, you can sneak over there, get a few signatures from those boys.
项羽是真实存在，那个什么他手下什么龙驹这些应该也是真实的，对吧？对吧？那我想问一句，项羽跟那个樊哙应该也是个猛将吧？对不对嘛？樊哙能够在项羽妈的手下过几招，